Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the wrestling universe. This is the RSN Wrestling Podcast, bringing you a special edition of a coverage of the reviews for TakeOver Phoenix and the Royal Rumble 2019. This is the one and only the big guy, Rich. We have the mastermind, Sal.
Hey, what's up, guys?
And we have a third gentleman here. Sal, would you like to do a big intro for this gentleman?
Well, we gotta explain this in full depth. First of all, when we're talking about RSN Wrestling Podcast, it's a 3-man team, and we're talking about
Rich.
Yeah, we got the big guy. We got me, and who's the N? It's not a Nick. It has to be. There's a specific Nick, and this is a Nick that
in the world there's multiple Nicholas Lopez's.
Definitely,
but there's only one Nicholas Lopez.
Yes, and this Nicholas Lopez also operates a website called PWO, Pro Wrestling Opinion, which you can also find out.
Not only does he just do coverage, he goes in depth with the coverage.
And did you hear about this little intermission show that he does too? 15 minutes? Damn, man. How can you fit a whole
would you like to enlighten the fans?
Yeah. Well, let's have Nick speak about that.
Wait. Nick, you mean we have him?
I think we have him. We have him here, right?
Nick, are you here, Nick?
Nick, are you there?
Echo? Yes. Hi. Hello. Welcome.
Shit, he's here.
Oh, it's Nick.
Yes. I'm here. So it is officially we're officially partying. Yeah. So I run a pretty fancy little website called ProWrestlingOpinion.com. Our biggest thing this year so far has been my 15-minute podcast intermission, where basically I talk about things happening in pro wrestling, social media ramblings, Raw, SmackDown, highlights, things of that nature. So, and then when I record, I open Facebook, whatever's the first thing I see, I just start scrolling, and those are the topics. So I never know what I'm going to be talking about because I just base it off what people post. But we've done some pretty cool topics. I mentioned things like HBK retiring. Benoit, me passing an opinion that he doesn't belong in the WWE Hall of Fame. Those are actually topics that have sparked Sportskeeda published stories as well. So I'm also on there if you want to check that out. But yeah, that's the basic gist of it. PWO is your go-to source for pro wrestling news, reviews, and interviews. That rhymes as well. And if you want to check out, we've done some interviews with this promotion from St. Louis called Dynamo Pro Wrestling. Been doing it ever since like 2015, and PWO has been rolling since 2015. So you'll have to forgive me. My roommate is dying next to me, and I'm really sad because he didn't get me Oreos yet.
Fuck you. Oh, he's not a real friend then.
Damn, man. Yeah, that's fucked up. That's real fucked up. He didn't get you Oreos, man. That's
I'm his boyfriend. I'll do whatever the fuck I want.
Damn, man.
That's savage. I know.
Savage. Straight up savage.
So not only do we provide you guys with wrestling information, we also provide you with a little comedy.
That's right. Just like I said, this is whenever we're doing it, whether it's a 45-minute segment, an hour segment, whatever it is.
Or 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Or an intermission.
Yeah, or intermission. There's always going to be something, that's always there. And that's what makes RSN. So, yeah.
We are better than Impact.
Better than Impact, but, wait.
We're better than everyone.
Damn, yeah, we are, but
not quite, not quite as good as Wendy's on Twitter, but we're getting there.
I was referring to the plugs that we do compared to the ones that they do on Impact.
Yes.
We're way better.
Of course. This is the first.
Did you know that you could catch Big Brother After Dark?
Crickets.
Exactly. That's how everyone reacts.
Yeah.
When they do the plugs on Impact.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Impact, let's just go straight into it. We got a lot of shit to talk about, of course. All the stuff that's been going on in wrestling. Impact, man. What the fuck is happening to it? Like, I'm hearing that Like especially like I think it was like a match with Ali or something. The crowd was just dead. Like nothing interested in the whole thing. Nothing was like, there was a big reveal supposedly. Rosemary came out or something, and nothing. It was just dead. Like it was like someone turned on a white noise machine and just went, "Fuck it." Like,
Chirp.
My main question is, what channel is it on now? The vacation channel? I don't even know the name of it.
It's a channel that no one ever heard of, but they're affiliated with Twitch, which is pretty good.
I mean,
sounds real good. I don't know what happened. I think the best thing they ever had was they settled into Pop TV pretty good. But then again, their 2016.
They weren't been on Destination America though.
Yeah, their 2016 and 2017 were probably their creative peak. I haven't really kept in touch with it, but I've seen like a whole different roster now, so it really seems like night and day. But
I'm only still tuning in because of LAX and Tessa Blanchard. That's really it.
I don't know, the Destination America days I wasn't too fond of. It was like hit or miss.
Yeah. Well, of course now, I mean, look at the whole landscape now. Probably what 6-7 years ago, it was all Impact. It was all certain stars: Kurt Angle, Drew Galloway, Bobby Lashley. Now you see these guys are on Raw now, WWE, and like some of them are agents now. That's kind of crazy, right? I mean, recently I think they just said that Abyss was Joseph Parks and Sanjay Dutt are now, and Hurricane Helms, who are formerly, I think,
Daivari.
Yeah, they were all agents for TNA or Impact Wrestling. Now they're actually shifting over to WWE. It's kind of bizarre, right?
The only one who I could see still possibly getting in the ring is Sanjay
Dutt, yeah. But then it's like, I think like Hurricane Helms, for example, who has a very high, like, big presence online, well respected.
Fans love him.
Fans love him, yeah. And it's like,
my opinion, in the 2018 Rumble, I think that might have been the biggest pop.
That was, and then him and Cena staring down. That was like, holy shit! All we gotta see is another Rock segment.
Oh, and speaking of more agents, Jeff Jarrett.
Yes. Well, we gotta talk about the Rumble first. The Rumble, man. What do you guys think about it?
I think it had its
more coverage of the Rumble. You could check it on pwo.com.
Yeah.
Yes, I actually did a little talking about this on intermission. I guess there were two of them, the men's and the women's. But I'd say the women's, it was affected by what happened earlier in the show, and my money was on Charlotte, just based on how that division's being booked. But I had chosen Charlotte if Becky didn't somehow get involved, and Becky got involved, so that's how that worked out. But I'm kind of surprised that they're not. Well, the rumors going around are that Charlotte is going to be working her way into the Ronda Rousey Becky Lynch match, which I think is a huge mistake. They need to just keep it at Lynch and Rousey, because this was already the proposed match that was supposed to happen at Survivor Series. We didn't get it because of Lynch's injury. Charlotte, we've already been down that road with Lynch and Charlotte, so they don't really need to mix it up at WrestleMania. Charlotte could have her own program with Asuka, honestly, and no one would complain. She could even take on someone from Raw just for the sake of it. There's plenty of other things they could do with her, because Charlotte's been that history maker. She's done this, she's done that. It's not that she hasn't been in a WrestleMania main event. She has been, but I don't think she's fit for the WrestleMania main event, which right now, honestly, you have to give it to Lynch and Rousey. If this is the time that they push women's wrestling, this is the time to do it. There's no other better opportunity right now. Lynch is the most popular wrestler right now in WWE. You listen to the reaction.
I can argue that one. I think she's the most popular wrestler in wrestling.
Yeah. I think she's the most popular person in America right now, or maybe
definitely.
Even the world. I don't even know. She could be president right now. If the government was shut down,
Uh-huh.
and she was behind that Oval Office, she would say, "Get the fuck out of here! I'm putting it back on."
I would
The
not.
funny thing is about Becky Lynch's character. I feel like it's such a departure from what it once was, but maybe it's a good thing. But essentially, all she really did was put on a black T-shirt that said "The Man" and wear a black leather jacket, and she became Stone Cold Steve Austin. All she had to do was those three things to become the most popular person like ever.
And to be honest, I would vote Becky for 2020. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
I would too.
Yeah.
Someone make it happen. Someone listening.
I mean,
Right on.
freaking.
As long as you put
Not-
that on the shirt, just say the man 2020. That's it. Everybody will get on that in a heartbeat.
If you think about it, the last presidential election, Broken Matt Hardy got over 2,000 votes,
And that says a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
and a gorilla who got shot, Harambe, we miss you. He got 1,000 votes. So what can Becky Lynch get?
Yeah. I think what it really comes down to is Becky Lynch, like, and the thing is with her character, what I like about it, it's not bizarre, it's not out there, it's not something that just like the New Day, for example. It was not like, something that was just, cool and funny and whatever, or like a comedic act. This was like a legit, intense kind of thing that just developed over time. And you rarely see that in people. You rarely see that. Austin was one of those guys that did that. The Rock did that a while back. Velveteen Dream, I think, in my opinion, he's starting to do that right now. There's a couple of guys that are doing that, but it's just hard. I think it's hard to kind of utilize that. And I think Vince even challenges his roster. He tells them, he's like, why can't you guys be like this? Why are you guys so why are you guys so scared about it? Just, do something about it. And it's weird, so nobody's taking that brass ring, but you see Becky Lynch, she's done that. She's transcended all of her, like, what character was laid out for her, So it's kind of like, when they looked into, and here's another thing too. This isn't a character that was like probably on. Would you say this was a character on let's say on a conference room where they just plotted it out and said, this is how we're going to build this character? I think
I think she went in and said, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, I think it was like a tangent. Yeah.
If you remember, it was the heel turn that didn't quite stick, so the people ended up cheering her more, so they ended up just running with it. Charlotte should have just been the heel from the get-go. I mean, I'm sorry. She's better off as a heel. She was basically the heel for like the entire feud with Sasha Banks back in 2016, 2017-ish. So I don't know why they would have.
Well, did you guys watch SmackDown this week or no?
I read the recap. I saw the report. So that
she played a great heel, actually.
Yeah, and she's just so much better at it. But the funny thing is, if they're trying to work Charlotte into this supposed triple threat, I didn't really get. She didn't even mention the Rumble, or that she just inserted herself and is just an in-ring agent. She's not,
The only thing she said was, "I'm very happy," in a sarcastic way. She said, "I'm very happy for you." I'm very happy for you.
Yeah, I get the sarcasm.
Nothing else.
I get the sarcasm part, but you would think to work her way into a triple threat, you think she would at least, cry foul that Lynch won the Rumble to begin with.
Like, start pushing it now. With WrestleMania as well, like a little over a month.
That's right. I mean, when you look at the calendar, when you look at the calendar, what do they have? Elimination Chamber is later this month, right?
I think the next step for the Lynch and Charlotte thing, and this is what I had suggested. I talked about this a little bit on intermission. What they should do.
You can check it on pwo.com.
Yeah, exactly. I got 9 episodes, 15 minutes each. Do the math. I can't.
9 episodes. That's crazy, man. 9 15-minute segments.
I like the laughing from the peanut gallery in the background.
Oh, thanks. You're so sweet.
That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to him today.
Fuck you.
We should have that as like a segment.
That being said,
like
back to where I was going before. What they should do, and WWE, I will give them credit. They are really good at teasing things happening at WrestleMania or during WrestleMania season. They should do Becky Lynch versus Charlotte at Elimination Chamber, just to So the idea would be that if Charlotte wins, the matchup at WrestleMania becomes a triple threat. If Becky wins, then Charlotte's out of that picture and can't fight for the title for the next 6 months, or just something crazy like that.
Just a
That-
random
that would
stipulation
go.
for Becky winning.
And this is the match where Lynch wins at some close calls. She gets her well-deserved main event. She goes on the Mania, beats Ronda Rousey, and her character is set for the rest of the year. You don't have to do anything, and the people are gonna soak it up. This is what WWE should be focused on. They should be focused on the people. The people like Becky Lynch. They love Becky Lynch. Why are you not doing these kinds of storylines to cater towards those fans? Because
if you remember what Triple H said in the beginning of the year, we're going by what the authority wants, and you guys, the WWE Universe, are the authority.
That's true. I mean, and that's true. I think Rich brings up a good point. If you look at what they're doing right now, it seems like they're kind of catering towards everybody. Look at the women's picture.
Not really. Brock still has the title.
Yeah, I mean, that's true in a sense. I mean, they're all basically, you can't make everybody happy. Vince wants something, the fans want something. He's trying to make everybody happy. You got to look at his position. He's trying to satisfy his shareholders, the fans, his father-in-law. There's a whole bunch of people that he's got to take into consideration. Of course, we probably want to say, oh, this should be this should be that. But at the same time, he got his own process. At the end of the day, I think the old man should just leave, focus on his XFL. The Super Bowl's tomorrow. So do your own little Super Bowl, get out of wrestling, give all your shares to Shane, to Stephanie, to Triple H. Let them do what they have to do with it. I mean, for example, looking at this, the whole women's picture with Charlotte, this whole dynamic between Charlotte and Becky, and then Seth and Dean on Raw, it kind of seems
I think is a great feud, by the way.
It feels like two parallels, but they're both have like some kind of similarity. I mean, there's always that other factor, that wild card. So in this case, like, Dean, of course, he's got his own little thing. Rumors that he's about to leave, of course, it's causing heat. Of course, the big thing is that
he's going to AEW.
Yeah, that rumors that he's going to AEW, or the peculiar kind of, strange thing that they did where they just went ahead and announced the fact that he was leaving prematurely, which they never do, or rarely do. So it's kind of weird. And then you see Charlotte with this whole thing with her, and again, like Nick said, it's kind of like they're trying to launch her into the picture somehow. But again, you got to think of it. Elimination Chamber's around the corner. Fastlane's around the corner. They got to go ahead and sell these pay-per-views, too, on the way to WrestleMania. So it's kind of hard. I mean, they don't have Roman Reigns again. So they're kind of thinking, shit, how the fuck do we sell this? But again, you got to think of it. It's like there's more than just Roman Reigns. There's other things out there.
Other talent that could
be
your guy.
And if you don't focus on these talents, guess what's going to happen? They're going to go to other promotions. I say not just AEW, New Japan, ROH. There's a bigger market out. There's a bigger market out there.
Well, there is one person we know isn't leaving, and that's AJ Styles. He signed. He got his 3 years part-time deal.
Oh, it's confirmed to be 3 years. I didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't. Yeah. The article I saw, they didn't specify the amount of time.
Never got the big guy.
But
3
years would he would probably end his career after that, because I think 3 years is the maximum that he's willing to go.
Yeah,
he pulls a Kurt Angle and
he said he will do 4 years. He said he'll do 4 years as long as it's part-time.
Yeah.
Again,
hey, deserves it.
Yeah, most of these guys I think are like, if you look at Joe's almost getting up there. Freaking yeah.
If you think about it, all the guys that came over from Impact or New Japan, they're in their late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah. And it kind of brings up the fact like and some guys even in NXT, like these guys are all in their 40s. They're thinking about leaving at some point. But I think it also brings the fact that it's not like, okay, like Christopher Daniels once said it. He's like, I would never go to WWE because why would they want a 40-something plus year old, guy in, the wrestling and stuff like that for them. But then there's also other opportunities. That's why these guys are staying with WWE. I mean, of course, you could argue the fact that there's AEW. They're offering all these big contracts. But at this point, I mean, personally, in my opinion, I think AEW is just it's just a lot of hype, a lot of fire. Okay, I see what's going on. Like, okay, you're making it spicy. But now, okay, let's see what's going on. Let's actually put this thing into action. Until it's then, that's when I'll be a believer. But I don't really see where this is going. I think it's just WWE trying to – they might be under threat. But I feel like it's just another thing for talent to use as leverage. And I think we spoke about this before. All these other things like Revival leaving, the rumors that Maria and Maria's leaving, right? And Mike Kanellis, right? They're both leaving. It just brings up the fact that, it's just, I think all this is just leading up to that, and they're using it as leverage. Dean Ambrose might be leaving soon, of course, And the rumor was that they were trying to re-sign a lot of other people, including AJ Styles.
And they said we'll pay you double whatever the competition offers.
Yeah, and their argument is, we have that Fox deal. Okay, well, show them the cash. What's there? It just brings up
Money. Money talks, bullshit walks.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you guys: 6 months from now, what do you see happening? This is after WrestleMania, let's say, right? This is what? August. So this is around the time pre-SummerSlam.
April after WrestleMania. Why are you jumping all the way into August?
Yeah, the spring clean is right after WrestleMania.
6 months. 6 months. Let's make a plan, because of course things can always happen.
Damn. So you're going spring and friggin' fall cleaning.
Yeah, screening right through it. Yeah, that's it.
What do we do in the summer?
You got Money in the Bank. You got your whole, bullshit pay-per-views. Another Great Balls of Fire, probably. They'll probably call it Testicles of Fire at some point. Whatever.
Yeah, because it's PG.
Yeah,
but it's slowly drifting away, if you realize.
Yeah.
Now, something that I've been dying to bring up, and something that's really racking my mind is it me, or are people just turning without any explanation? I've seen it happen at least 4 times this week. It happened with
Elias.
Rusev.
Yeah.
Elias, who's, I don't know why they would change it back when he was just starting to
That
get
was
over.
weird. That was completely weird. Like, why? This whole thing with Jarrett coming in at number 2. Like, okay, I understand. I thought it was probably a gag, and then they're announcing there's a match on Monday. I don't know. It's like,
I was expecting guitar and a pole match since they both play guitar.
Yeah, Vince Russo came back then.
Yeah, don't do Vince Russo.
That's Elias versus Jeff Jarrett, guitar and a pole. Wait for that.
Yeah. It's like, come on, man.
Let's put the rodeo on a pole and call it a day.
Yeah, just call it.
We just put him on a forklift.
And if I don't know if Triple H is a babyface now, but it looks like Proud Papa from NXT is on the main roster, so I guess that's a thing. I saw some posts about Dean Ambrose supposedly working as a face at the most recent house show.
Yeah, he was teaming with Finn.
Well, they said it was a fatal 4-way, but that he was yeah, that's 4 people in a match.
It was a fatal 4-way turned into a tag team match.
Ooh, sounds like fun.
Yeah, real fun.
Tag team, fuck yeah.
Fucking comedy, guys.
Oh man, we did.
And someone else did it. Rusev. Why the fuck would they turn him heel? I have
no idea. It's just
it's
bizarre.
a merchandising nightmare.
I don't know. I think it's just,
and they did it without reason. Like one day they're a heel, one day they're a face. It's like the Divas division from 2006. I don't even know anymore.
It's like Big Show. Everybody's Big Show now. Turning, one turn around, you're a heel. Oh, turn around, you're a face. Oh, okay.
My thing is, Lashley. Oh no, that was a long time ago. But
Lashley, I think he's just becoming more intense now. I guess that they're trying to push him as this guy that picks on indie darlings, quote unquote.
Well, they should really push him like how they did in Impact, because that was the best incarnation of his character. I don't think you really. That was
an amazing heel turn.
Yeah, I don't think he needs a manager per se, but if it helps him get to the IC title, and obviously it did, then that's just doing good things.
Since we brought up Lio Rush, if you guys look on Instagram, the big guy was on Instagram Live with Lio Rush.
Lee, what's Plan B?
Blocked.
Yeah, Leo, if you're hearing this, fuck Plan B. Lashley's sticking in the main card. He's staying in the main card. Fuck out of here. He's not going nowhere.
That was he stays in character on Instagram.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was like, damn, man. And he just like.
I mean, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're eventually setting the table up for a KO return. Maybe this will happen at Mania. Maybe maybe he comes back between Elimination Chamber and Mania, and maybe he comes back as a face to get revenge on
Team
Lashley. Or what they could even do, if Sammy comes back, I don't know the timetable on his return, but maybe
they're both around the same time.
Yeah, maybe they'll wait for both of them to recuperate so they could come back as faces, get revenge on Lashley,
and then go for the tag team titles.
Maybe even throw Lio Rush in there just to make it a tag match. I mean, it's just an idea, but it's something that, it seems to be that the story that they want to tell, because when they turned Lashley, they did it at KO's expense to write him off television, but they could have done that with anyone, not just, Kevin Owens. So
yeah,
it's very interesting the way that they set it up. I feel like it kind of just started the domino effect of all the random turns, though. So I'm not quite sure why WWE's doing that. It's a little bit like, how are we supposed to emotionally invest in the people that we see on the show if they're constantly changing their ideologies? So, if they're saying one thing and then doing another, and then the next week it's the complete opposite of the week before, what's the point of even watching?
That's right.
It's like the hero in the movie becomes the villain, and then the villain becomes the hero by the end of it. You don't really get that foregone conclusion.
That's right. I think, again, really what it is just, if you look at what they're doing, what's going to happen after Mania? They're going to have Saudi Arabia tour. They're going to go back to Saudi Arabia, collect that Saudi money, that good old Saudi money, get that cash, and that's it,
They can't get any women on the show, sadly.
Can't get women on the show, yeah. So, I mean, I guess it just comes down to the fact they're just trying to develop something there, like, just to change it up. But again, I think what it is fans, they see that. Like, we're seeing that right now. We look right through that. We're like, okay, this guy's heel, this guy's face. What the fuck is the point of this? There's no purpose in this, X, Y, Z. It just comes down to, I think what it is just they're trying to change the landscape. Because I think now what they're realizing is it's not just the main card now. There's also the mid card. They got to develop all these other things, all these other programs. They got to have something.
But if you realize, sometimes the mid card has better storylines than the main card.
I would say probably 2 years ago. 2 years ago, they had a better story. Not now. I think now they're pretty, like, how a couple years ago they were like the IC title and the US titles are mid card titles. They're kind of irrelevant now. It's kind of going back to that now.
But if you think about it, the one who made the IC title kind of main title was The Miz.
That's right. And SmackDown, I mean, even the US title, he brought back the US title kind of back into it. And then you saw like Cena holding the title. You had, this person holding it. Owens came in. It just comes down to, I think what it is we're kind of regressing back into that now. Of course, Miz is kind of in his own problem, his own kind of tangent where he's having this thing with Shane. It's hard to
best tag team in the world.
Yeah, it's like I don't understand where they're trying. What do you guys think they're gonna go with this? With Shane McMahon?
I see one of them losing a match, which leads to a WrestleMania match between the two.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious
they're working. Best in the world is.
It's pretty obvious they're working their way towards a Mania match, but I mean, I'm loving their team while it's still a thing. I'm hoping it'll last a little bit longer. I mean, they could even extend it to SummerSlam if they could extend the team into Mania, and then just have to pay off at SummerSlam. I mean, this is something that you could prolong. So honestly, I hope they don't rush it because, I mean, sure, Shane has his WrestleMania moment, so he's got to jump off some kind of large structure to make the people happy. But
this year
he
already leaked what he's doing. This year he said he's jumping off the last row in the stadium.
Hopefully
it has a better ending than SummerSlam 2000.
Hopefully
that being said. I mean, something else I wanted to talk about too. Obviously, I'm sure you guys have seen all the pictures and everything. Daniel Bryan's eco-friendly belt.
Oh man,
is that not the greatest thing or what?
That
I think it's good.
I think it's great. I think what they do is it's just hilarious. I was like, damn man, him dropping the belt in the toilet. I mean, in the garbage. That was kind of symbolic. A lot of people were like, yeah.
It's not an RSN episode unless Sal pulls an Eva Marie.
Probably I did.
You just said he dropped it in the toilet.
Toilet. Yeah, I really did. Because
That's Eva Marie.
I mean, you saw that reaction. You saw that.
Note to self: don't use the bathroom at Sal's
I
house.
probably won't. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the you saw the reaction from the fans when they threw that title right there in the garbage. The fans were like, "Oh," it was like a gas. It was like, "Oh shit," and it was kind of like that. I was like, "Damn, man, like that's kind of fucked up." And then he just pulls out a belt made of wood and 420. Interesting.
I'm not gonna lie, I do like the design though.
I think it's cool. I like what they're doing with this. It's kind of interesting. It kind of brings it back to like if you look at all the people that customize belts, the Miz, he turned the W upside down. Edge, he turned his belt into a rated R belt. Cena with the spinner. Yeah, it just puts.
I hated the spinner.
Yeah, the spinner. Yeah,
but it's like
I like the design.
Yeah.
I mean, who could have imagined like 3 years ago that Daniel Bryan would be the leading heel right now on SmackDown? And I guess, and watching his if you watch when he came out at the Rumble to his music, and not a single person did the yes chant. Maybe a couple here and there, but that if you can make the if a stadium full of Chase Field people, and Rich, you know how large Chase Field is because it's the home of the Diamondbacks. It's a really big ass ballpark. Yeah. If you can make that amount of people just sit still on their hands, and when 3-4 years ago they'd be chanting yes and blow the roof off the place, then I think you've done a pretty good job as a heel.
Yeah.
And just to bring up something that you said, baseball stadium holds like 41,000 people, Nick Chase.
Yeah.
Apparently there was almost 49,000.
Yeah.
Where the fuck were the other 8,000 people?
Well, they're known to blow up their attendance numbers a little bit more than usual.
A couple years ago. Apparently there was
they added about
4,000.
Yeah, they added about 25,000 more people, which I didn't know. I guess Mr. McMahon has the power to create humans.
Yeah, I guess.
And just stick them in random places in the arena.
Yeah, and he gets to pick them out of thin air. It's like, oh, okay. I guess, we'll just add another. Yeah, what's the tally? Oh, we'll just add another 8,000. Just fucking add it. It's like, whatever.
Oh, something else on my mind, too. Kind of a different topic, but something I wanted to bring up, too. How far gone has No Way Jose became? That the fact that he was pushed in NXT with an actual story, and he had a feud with Austin Aries, and all on more than just a song and a dance. And on the main roster Royal Rumble, the guy comes out with the conga line. He gets eliminated in 3 seconds, and he's right back to dancing, right back out. Like,
who?
What the hell?
Yeah.
Who are you talking about?
No Way Jose.
No Way Jose.
The dancing guy from NXT.
The guy was pretty pissed. He was pretty pissed after. If you look at his face, he was pretty, pissed off. Like, it seemed like there was something backstage, some backstage stuff going on, too. Like, maybe he's not happy with his position.
I wouldn't be. At least in NXT, they gave him like a story and like a repertoire. Now he's just the careless guy who dances with the conga line.
Yeah, it's another gimmick. It's another Adam Rose. It's another.
I was about to say he's the new Adam Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a cheap man's Adam Rose, and Adam Rose is already a cheaper man's Adam Rose.
Oh man,
yeah,
they fucked that up so bad. Like, I don't know what, and that's the thing. They're basically gonna go through that same shit. Like, okay, let's reboot this guy's character 5 times, and then we'll see if it works. Oh, it doesn't work. All right, well, let's just go ahead and release this guy.
Since we're speaking on irrelevant people, apparently Mojo Rawley's coming back with a new persona
again.
I kind of liked his heel run, but I don't know what else you could do.
Yeah, exactly. That's just what it is.
Is anybody keeping tabs on the Worlds Collide, which obviously WCW inspired, but still cool nonetheless.
Yeah.
But the ironic thing is, if they would just have these kind of matches all the time, you wouldn't really need to have a special for it, and the main roster would really benefit so much more.
Yeah, it just ended. Well, even though it was pre-taped a week ago,
yeah,
they just aired the final match. Velveteen Dream beat Tyler Bate.
Yeah, and then of course I think they spoiled that later on.
He's challenging for the North American title in NXT. They filmed 2 different endings: him winning the title and him losing the match.
Yeah, but then he
I heard he still. I heard he was the champion, but they just. I think they. I guess maybe they did that to troll the fans, but I don't think
They
they
filmed
would.
both of them just to see, because they're still undetermined which finish they want to do.
That's interesting.
My personal opinion: give him the title, make him happy, so he stays. Because the kid is
I
fucking
thought that
23 years
the
old.
second. I thought the second go at it was just Gargano getting a cheap shot and just stealing the belt back.
No, it was they filmed two different finishes to determine. They're gonna determine the week of to see which one they want to go with.
That's weird.
My
I don't
personal
know.
opinion.
Yeah, that's kind of odd to put out there.
That's the first
My
time.
personal
Yeah,
opinion.
they haven't
Give
done
him a title.
That's like the
Give
first
the kid a title. He's 23 years old. Every freaking wrestling legend.
But what does he have to be pissed about? Like, here's the thing. Here's the thing I don't understand. A couple of takeovers ago, he was wearing what'd you call it? He was wearing pants that said "Call me up, Vince," and he's like so into let me just go into let me just go into just go to the main roster. And he's been talking about interviews. He's like, if I were on SmackDown or Raw, I would thrive. Might as well bring him up. But now he's like, oh, I'm pissed. I think it's just a troll. He's probably trolling us.
Nah, I understand where he's coming from. He's pissed because the kid has talent through the roof. This kid has the ability to hold the company down.
Yeah.
His
the character,
amazing.
Yeah, that's true. But again, it's also the fact that
Cena's saying this kid should be on the main roster.
Yeah.
Kurt, this guy should be on the main roster. Stone Cold, this kid is going to be a legend. He's 23 years old.
Yeah.
He has the look.
That's right.
Why isn't he on the main roster yet?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But I think, again, if you look at NXT, look at all the things that are going on. If they take him off of NXT, if they take Aleister Black from NXT, what's left?
I already am.
Okay, you have Ciampa, you have Gargano, you have Undisputed Era.
But then, but then for how much longer? They got to keep changing up the picture. There's going to be new faces coming in. They're going to have Matt Riddle soon. Try to headline the picture. They're probably going to have people like Keith Lee try to take over. But then it just comes to the fact they got to take this thing into consideration. And when did
But you have to remember this: Triple H has the ability to grab talent from other companies.
That's right.
He's did it before. He's going to keep doing it.
He's a master negotiator.
So,
that's right.
Okay. So we lose 3 people. We lose Black. We lose Dream. And they're probably going to lose Shayna Baszler soon to the main roster.
That's right.
Okay. We lose 3 people. We'll gain 6 other people in the next Performance Center class. Which, by the way, we've seen him live. Punishment Martinez has been doing amazing, they said.
Wow, someone made a Becky 316 shirt with her bloody face in the center of it.
Oh, just throwing out there, her promo Monday when she announced she was facing Ronda, gold.
Oh yeah, that was just straight up on point.
Ronnie, I told you I'll be back for you.
And that's why they need to keep it as just a singles match. You throw Charlotte in there, it ruins the whole dynamic.
Exactly. But Triple H has flown to other countries to grab their top talent. What makes you think he won't do it again if he loses people to the main roster?
Very true. Very true. Any thoughts on the Universal title situation? And again, I kind of called this from the get-go that they were gonna do Rollins and Lesnar because it's the better story to tell.
I got 3 words.
They had Mania history.
I got 3 words. Fuck Brock Lesnar.
We all call that, though. We all called if Lesnar retained, it was going to be Seth. If Lesnar lost, it was going to be Drew winning.
Someone talked about like another scenario because people were thinking he would pick Bryan because that would be the better in-ring contest, and
that
true
would
to
be
an extent. But they could always pull that out at a later show. They could do that next year's WrestleMania for all we know.
Or they could do that at Survivor Series when they do the champion versus champion.
Yeah, exactly.
Although I would like to see Seth and AJ. That would be a great match.
Again, I think what it really comes down to, and Vince said this before too. I think there's reports. Vince doesn't want to lose Brock, but why? I don't understand.
Fuck him.
Yeah, he's gonna
Fuck Brock.
at this point.
Let him walk.
Yeah,
The guy has no fucking bottom teeth on his mouth. His whole bottom row is fucking false teeth. Fuck him. Leave. No one fucking likes you, bro. You fear Matt Riddle.
Don't count Vinny out.
I want that shirt, and I want him if I ever see him.
Brock Lesnar fears Matt Riddle.
he probably does. But then, I mean, again, he's in a bidding war. I think at this point, it's eBay basically. I call it eBay. He's basically whoever's bid the most money, he's gonna go there. If AEW wants him, they'll take him. They got the money. If UFC wants him, Dana White's gonna be like, bring his ass over here. He's gonna come over here.
Fuck me. What's his
And if
name?
you think about it, he goes to UFC,
Vinny
he'll
Pacifico.
fight only one time a year.
Ew, specifically, Vinny Pacifico needs a fuck me. No, I'm kidding. What's his name?
It's Oreo again.
If Brock Lesnar goes to UFC, he'll
Vinny
fight one time a year, which is exactly what he wants.
How do you spell it?
PAC.
Oh, I'm stupid. Never mind.
Yeah.
Fuck
I
you.
mean-
Hey, fuck you.
Well, it's almost like a Ronda Rousey situation, except for Rousey, it seems like she's gonna be more for the family aspect of things, where Lesnar is just. The only thing I'll give Lesnar credit for is that his matches, he always looks like he goes through a war, like a building fell on him or some shit like that. He's always got like marks and bruises, and they told the story at Rumble pretty good. I mean, Lesnar came. He sold for Balor as much as he could strategically. It was there. The in-ring
Except for the-
psychology was strong.
Except for those 2 table shots. Those weren't fucking fake. Those were legit injury.
Yeah, those look painful. I mean, and maybe that was Brock's
Well-
idea to.
Well,
to
do you know the
go
story
into
behind that though?
Not fully.
He a couple years ago he was fighting, I believe it was Alistair Overeem. No, it was Cain Velasquez in a UFC fight. He had 3 feet of colon removed from his body.
Yeah.
Doctor said you can't fight for a year.
Yeah.
He fought 1 month after, got kicked in the ribs, his inside shut down, and excuse me for what I'm about to say, fans, he shit himself in the octagon.
Yeah. There's cases. I think he spoke about it in your book too. He said in his book too. He was like how he was going through all kinds of things in regards to his thing. Of course, it was his diet too. He was on he was addicted to I think vodka and I think pain medication, and that's what caused him to have like a hole in his stomach. So literally, while he was going, I think on a hunting trip, classic Brock Lesnar, he went ahead and they found a hole in his stomach. He went to a couple doctors here and there, and told them that he had diverticulitis. Then right after that, they said, okay, you have 2 options. Either you're going to wear a colostomy bag, which most likely you will, or you your life, or we're going to have to go ahead and go take off your colon. And he was like, I'm not doing none of that shit. So then he went ahead and did that shit. Of course, he shot himself, and then, the rest is history. He ended up going ahead and doing that. There's this whole thing, of course. And, I mean, here's the thing. But Brock Lesnar, a lot of people talk about his diverticulitis, his whole thing. It's a rough battle. He was on the deathbed. This guy was losing weight on the dot. It was crazy. And they said that if he didn't do nothing, that's it. He was going to die. He was done. That's it. And they said any doctor, like when doctors looked at his reports, they were crying. They're like, holy shit. Like this guy recovered after all that, literally with a hole in his stomach.
And came back to B. Finn pushed him
Mhm.
into the table, hit the
Mhm.
edge of the table in the right spot. And I'm like, oh shit, Finn might actually win this match if he keeps tapped in that one spot.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. They did it to protect him that he didn't suffer a F5, but he took one after the match. I think maybe they did that to protect him, but I think what they should have done, they should have had him kick out of at least one, before they led into the other finish. Because
Yeah.
to tap out to the Kimura after in F5, I would have bought that as a better finish.
Well,
And again,
all
also
I know
the fact
is I'm upset he finally lost at a pay-per-view.
Well, here's the thing too. He wasn't the demon though. Every other big pay-per-view, he's always a demon. And this one, for some reason, he wasn't.
Oh, if he was the demon, he definitely would have won.
It seems like they don't want to bring the demon out, because if you see what WWE's doing, they're like trademarking everything, but at the same time, they don't really want to do it. It's just like, no, let's just go ahead and get rid of it. It's it's kind of weird, at this point. It's just like, every time he dons that demon moniker, he wins. Or he becomes like an intense character. It's like a different dimension. It's Jekyll and Hyde, So it just brings up the fact that I think at this point, he went from fighting for the Universal title to going ahead. Yeah, so I was saying before, Finn is basically, I think, one of those characters that they really need to develop, because of course, like you see with Seth, they went ahead and they took this whole year to develop him. From WrestleMania to, of course, WrestleMania 34 to now, look at all he's done. He's been the workhorse. He's put on that mantle, and now they're about to kind of pass him along into that Universal title picture. I think they're kind of doing the same thing with Finn.
It's about time, though.
Oh, they kind of, he's kind of back in the IC title, upper mid-card kind of mix, which I guess is a good thing for him. But I guess the tease with the Universal title was a good one, but ultimately, he should find his way back to the Universal title picture, because I feel like that's where he belongs. And again, I always wonder what would have happened had he not injured his shoulder at SummerSlam 16.
Yeah,
he probably would have held the title for over a year.
We could have seen AJ Styles versus Finn, Bullet Club. You never know, but yeah, I kind of wrap this up. WWE 24. Last thing I think we should talk about. There was a segment.
Brock Lesnar with that shit.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar threw the title at Vince McMahon, and you see a clip of him, and basically, as he's walking away, I guess he was pissed, quote unquote. Vince is like, asshole. He's like, hey, asshole, and it just cuts him.
It's okay. Let's let that happen. Brock drops the title, but then we'll give him another title run.
And it's interesting.
Anyone else does that, you're getting fined, suspended, and possibly fired.
And it's interesting how that kind of confirmed the report that he did throw the title and there was heat after Mania. So it's kind of like, holy shit. And then, of course, months after, he ended up working the Greatest Royal Rumble, and everything else. It was all clear after that. So, but what do you guys think that was? What do you think Brock threw the title because he was pissed? Was it because, Dana White was in the crowd? Was it, he was trying to that Vince? Do you think Vince was trying to get into his UFC negotiations? What do you guys think?
Fuck Brock Lesnar. That's what I think.
I'm sort of over it, but I give him, like I said, I give him credit. At least he does his thing in the ring, with the right opponent. He always sells. So like I said, like I mentioned before, he always leaves the ring looking like a building fell on him.
Thank you, Peanut Gallery.
You're so fucking welcome.
Just an update: the Oreos have not been purchased yet.
Oh man, come on,
Vinny.
Yo, where the fuck are those double stuffed Oreos? Come on, man.
I'll give you double stuffed, bitch.
Can you give me soft baked?
Oh goodness gracious!
Fuck yeah, but this whole thing with Brock throwing the title. They showed it on a documentary. They showed it on TV, and it was okay, no problem. What do you guys think that was? Do you think Brock was just pissed? Was it because, of course, I think people were speculating that he was pissed that Roman didn't go over and Brock went over.
I just want to throw this out there. Titus gave Vince a hug, suspended for 3 months. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, and Brock throws a title, and it's like, oh, no problem.
Gets rewarded with another title run.
Yeah, and gives him.
Well, there's I would argue there are degrees of invincibility. Brock Lesnar's just pretty much untouchable, and Titus O'Neil is pretty much known as the guy who slid at the Royal Rumble. So there's
Titus World Slide.
Yeah,
he did a good job. He did a good job this one though. He did a good job at this one's. Like,
Yeah, he stopped.
He stopped and he actually looked and he was like, okay. Oh, Kurt Hawkins is under there. Let me just go in there. It's like, all right. That was cool. We kind of talked about everything going on. It's WrestleMania season. Shit's getting interesting. Shit's starting to heat up now. And where's
This
WrestleMania?
should be happening soon.
Yeah. And WrestleMania is guess where?
Yeah, wrestling company.
New York.
New
Well,
York.
New Jersey.
New
Technically.
Jersey. Yes, in MetLife Stadium. The same site that it was in 29, which was how many years ago? 6 years ago? It's crazy.
6.
So after 6 years, they're coming to WrestleMania. That's crazy. Yeah.
So that means Takeover is going to be in
That's what I was trying to-
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Yes.
Last time I was there,
Yeah.
I believe we went.
Yeah, and that was actually the first takeover, right? All three of us were probably there, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. So it's been how many years? That was like what, 4 years ago? 5 years
You
ago?
should do that. I'll fuck shit up.
Something like that.
5
You
years.
think I could do it?
The fifth takeover, so that's something there. So you never know. Maybe it might be live.
Try to hang up on my motherfucker.
But nonetheless, this is the Arts Wrestling Podcast. This is, this basically Mastermind style. We got the big guy, Rich.
Fuck mad shake.
See you guys.
And we got Nick,
They're not paying
Master
attention.
of PWO, or owner and operator of PWO.
And he still hasn't got his Oreos.
No,
Where the fuck are the Oreos?
they're still on the store shelf.
Mother.
Come on. That sucks.
Respect, sir.
Come on, Vinny. You got to get him his Oreos.
I
Come
don't
on.
like that shit. The fuck?
Outbreaks PWO. Come on, man. He's got a site to run.
What?
The man's got a site to run. He's got to cut intermission. He's got to cut 4 more episodes, man.
We're gonna have to hold the fuck out.
I guess he's got to wait now. Oh, man. I guess we're going to have to wait for 4 more episodes. Crap.
He needs
We'll,
his
we'll,
brain food.
we'll see if
Come
I'm
on.
still alive for the next episode.
We'll see. But yeah, I mean, nonetheless, you can check that out. PWO, Pro Wrestling Opinion. You can also check us out on Facebook, Twitter. You can check out the Twitter page that's run by Rich. Of course, me and him co-run the Facebook and Instagram pages as well. We also
YouTube.
Yeah, we're also on YouTube. We're on basically all the different platforms. Google Podcasts. We're on Android Podcasts. Apple Podcasts. Freaking Spotify, another big one. So definitely you can check us out on there. So if anything, we'll see you guys out.
See you guys.
Peace.
Peace, motherfucker.
Get him Oreos.
No, mother.
Close. Oh, we got what? We gotta have a count like 1, 2, 3. Get the.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.